Jessica, how are you?
Hi, John. I'm good. How are you?
Outstanding, outstanding. How can I help?
Hi. So I am calling because I have a sibling, a brother that basically came home from college with a mental breakdown. It's now been 5.5 years. He's been living with my parents and basically is making their life hell.
Oh, man.
The rest of the siblings and I have talked about possibly doing like an intervention because my parents don't know how to set boundaries with them and just telling them how we feel about the situation because we also feel like we're losing them. So I just thought I'd give you a call and see if you had any advice, if that's even something we should do, if we should just sit back and watch this unfold for the next who knows how long, or if we should tell them how we feel and maybe help them with some resources.
Yeah. So tell me, when you say mental breakdown 5.5 years ago, was it just a anxiety fit? I don't like taking tests. Is he schizophrenic? Like, paint me a picture of that.
Well, he was working and doing school a lot and didn't sleep, and so mentally couldn't take all of the pressure. Misbehaved a little bit, not terrible, but the school basically released him to, you can go home. We don't need you to finish your semester. And then found out through various different things that he does have some mental health disorders. He has a personality disorder, like borderline. Mm-hmm. And he does have anxiety and depression on top of that. That's been medicated, but this summer he went to chase this girl who didn't like him on his medications. And so now we've seen a decline in his mental health, as well as there's a lot of guilt on my parents' part. He went through some medical trauma earlier in his life, and so I think they feel like they have to provide him whatever he wants.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Again,
You're right on. You and your brothers and sisters are right on. There comes a point when our loved ones, our brother, our sister, sometimes it's our dad or our mom, there comes a moment when our loved one becomes a grown man who's making my mom cry. Mm-hmm. Right? And yes, he's my brother. Yes, I love him. Yes, he's got some challenges. Yes, he went through some nonsense, some crap as a kid. But right now, he's a 25-year-old or 26-year-old who's breaking up my parents' marriage, who is keeping my dad from sleeping a full night of sleep, who is playing my mom like an accordion and making my mom's hair turn gray, making her cry. And there is a moment as a parent. Do you have kids of your own?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just talking to you parent to parent here. There's moments when we get so far down our own rabbit hole trying to care for our kids that we lose the forest from the trees, right? And I like your word, what an intervention can do for your parents is let them know that they're not alone. You and your brothers and sisters can pull them out of whatever river they're drowning in, help dry them off, and then offer them some resources. But probably the most important resource you're going to offer them is that you've got their back, right? That you love them, you support them, you're going to teach them how to draw boundaries, you're going to support whatever boundaries they draw. And that might have ugly consequences for your brother for a season, right? Mm-hmm. And right. People with borderline personality disorder, they are brilliant and lovely and hilarious and hellacious to work with because you are the greatest person who has ever lived until you are the worst person who has ever lived, right?
Exactly.
Mom and dad are the most wonderful people until they have ruined my life and you guys suck and I hate you and I'm just going to quit taking my meds and go off because she loves me more. And this girl is going to be the greatest girl who ever lived until she's not, right? And that's such as the up and downs of folks who are on borderline personality disorder and don't work really, really hard to come to terms with these roller coaster fireball emotions that rage through their bodies. And so, yes, at the end of the day, you need to get your parents out of a burning house. And they need to hear love and support from you and from your siblings. My recommendation for that would be to let them know, hey, we're going to set up a time that we all want to meet, whether that's in person or because of the current medical climate, we're going to do a Zoom meeting. and somebody needs that they trust. There's always that one sibling that kind of takes the lead. It might be you that they said, hey, call the knucklehead on the radio and see what he has to say. But whoever the brother or sister is that has their trust the most can call in and say, listen, we love you, and you got to start drawing some boundaries because we're worried about you and Mom. We're worried about you and Dad, and we love you, and we don't want to see our brother hurting y'all anymore. Absolutely, absolutely. So how does that hit you?
It's just validation, I think, because we've been watching this unfold for the last 5 years, so we're very we feel like we've lost something too with our parents, that they're so focused on him and unable to see how it's hurting everyone else. So,
well, and here's the thing: beware of this. After 5.5 years, caring for their hurting son has become an identity for your parents. They have found meaning in their hurt, and they have found meaning in their pain. For parents who, like you said, he had medical trauma as a kid, he's probably experienced some hard things as a kid. Sometimes this lashing that parents subject themselves to, especially with their adult kids, when they won't draw boundaries, there's some weird, ugly, tiny demon in the back of their hearts and minds that say, you deserve this. This is because of. And so expect some resistance, expect some, yeah, but somebody expect that, and just know going in, all four of you, there's four of you, right? That y'all go in as a united front that says, Mom and Dad, this is enough. This is enough, and we're going to help you draw boundaries. So whatever resources y'all can come up with, either locally for him, really the boundaries for a 25-year-old are going to be, you've got 3 months and then you're out. And then y'all need to rotate going to visit Mom and Dad or calling Mom and Dad and letting them know that when they get this torrent of borderline response, which is going to be you're going to make me homeless, you're the worst, you're throwing me out on my ear, you don't care about me, you don't love me, all that stuff, partridge in a pear tree, that your parents are constantly being filled up. You're holding their arms up in the desert as they are desperate for water, and you're helping them out get through this season. And then they've got to kick him out. They got to change the locks on the house if it gets to that. Probably he'll throw a temper tantrum and take off, and then they're going to have to hold boundaries. And the boundaries might be, when you get a job, we'll help you out. If you need support buying your medication, if you can show us that you're on your medication, we'll help you out, whatever that's going to look like. But I trust you and your brothers and sisters do that. But yeah, 100%, you've got my blessing. Y'all need to step in, help your mom and dad out of the river. They're drowning. They've made an identity out of treading water, and it's time for folks who love them to step in and help. What a great call. Thank you so much. Jessica, you're a saint, and you and your brothers and sisters are awesome. I'd love to know how that conversation goes, so please call me back. Let me know how the intervention goes, how your parents take it, if they take it well. If they don't take it well, I'd love to hear how they are doing.